So I wanted to go over how to do the Commonplace blog assignment because I've got several questions on it and what exactly to do. So I'm going to bring up really quick the assignment sheet itself, which I'll show you there are two spots it can be found. So if we go to student view really quick, and then I click modules. So if you go over here, you see this course information tab. There are some helpful resources I just want to show you guys again. So the helpful videos and guides, which can be found like this one on there. Their office hour signups, things like that. And then here's also the link to my blog, which we'll go to in a minute as well. But if you click that, it gives you an example. So if we go back, as soon as you actually click our Canvas shell, it does come up. So it's very easy to find. Literally right here, it has the Commonplace assignment for you. And then each week's module, when we do check-ins, I also include it in the assignment sheet itself. So if we go here and look, the biggest thing for the Commonplace book or blog, as we call it, is that you're taking either the objectives we're talking about, a quote from your reading, or something you picked up from the class that you reflect on. So that's 3 out of the 5 entries a week. Make sure that you do that. And so that could be something like multimodal production or something like that, or the reflective process. Those are examples of class outcomes that we can use, or you can use as you do your blog. So for example, if I assign a reading from Understanding Rhetoric, one of the books that you got for the class, you could take a line or a quote or maybe an image from that book and put it into your blog, and I'll show you how to do that, for example, on blogger.com, and then you comment on it. And I do want to remind you that only 3 out of 5 have to be related to the class, so those other 2 can literally be things like song lyrics, a playlist, an image, a GIF, something that you talk about why you put it in your blog and what importance it kind of has. Maybe it has to do with a hobby you like, or maybe it has to do with a subject you like, or something like that. And I do want to remind you the easiest way to do a blog is not via Google Docs. I do recommend actually using some sort of blog website so it's interactive. I think that would be it would better suit the class need for the blog type of style I'm looking for, but these are just some ideas like Wix, Card, Tumblr, there's blogger.com, which I have put in the other areas of the assignments and the modules. So if we go here, and for example, let's say you want to use Blogger, you can just type in, I'll take us back, blogger.com in your search bar, and automatically, if you do make an account, it'll pop up like that. But if you go to Google and you do blogger.com, go down a little bit, this will come up, so you'll hit that, and then it's pretty easy. So over here, you'll have to obviously sign up and then do all that, and then your page will look somewhat like this when you do entries. So you can do a new post, and automatically when you post and do things like that, it automatically will have the newer post at the top, and then at the bottom it'll show the old post. And people who have Blogger can also comment as well, which is easy. Tumblr's also a good resource to get comments and things like that, or even a profile. Like I said, you could use Instagram, Twitter, anything like that, as long as it's collectively in a spot where people can access it and kind of interact with it is the biggest thing. So for example, let's say I have 3 so far. You'll want to have 8 this week while this video is recorded, and then through the semester, every week you'll need at least 5, and I do bi-weekly check-ins, so it's not every week. Every 2 weeks I do bi-weekly check-ins, and after the first 2 weeks, because we started midway, you will have about 10 entries to show me, and then I make it out of 10 points to show your participation. But for example, once you see one of these on your webpage, you can go like this. So you go over here to where this little icon looks like, this little circle, and then you click it, and it's going to take you to your profile page. And I really do recommend, for right now I didn't do it, but I will, we'll put in a picture of you or something you like or something that represents you. And then over here are my blogs. So right here, Mara's Collective Commonplace, if I click that, it will take me to the blog I made, which is printedcafes.blogspot.com. So when you do your submissions for this, you'll want to copy it, and then you'll want to put that link to your blog right in the actual submission line on Canvas so that I can easily access it and see it. It also makes it easier than using Google Docs, for example, because a lot of people forget to add me as an administrator or an editor, so then I'm left out and I can't see it. And then usually there's a lack of reaching out to me or people responding, so it's just easier to use a blogging website or some sort of website where people can easily scroll through, access, go back and look, things like that. So going over a little bit about the Commonplace book or blog as what I expect from it. For example, if you look at this one, the entry 3 objectives. So I click read more. So right here, so it formatted a little bit differently than when I had done it. There we go. So right here, the outcome I looked at, for example, which I put on here, kind of bolded it as like the letterhead, was reflective practices. Now this is a very generic post, and as you go through the semester, you're going to progress so that it's not just you labeling an outcome from the class. You're actually going to have like a quote or some sort of visual aid that connects to the actual outcome, and then in the bottom you're going to connect back to why you put that in your blog. So, for example, I talked about while going through undergrad, I had different aspects of writing, and then realizing reflection was a really big aspect of it, and that I didn't really realize that until later in my undergrad career. And then when I did that, it helped me to navigate my own teaching philosophy as well as to work on my own aspects as a writer. And then I want to bring your attention down to this. So if you look right here where it says entry 2 writing spaces, like I said before, it'll actually go through and your old posts will be near the bottom, but they're easily accessible. And it's like that on Twitter as well, because that's more of a social blogging website that you can do. And then Tumblr also is like that as well, so it's kind of easier that it automatically aligns all of your posts up so I can easily access that, and so can your peers, because I do want you to interact, and you will have assignments where you do interact. And then if you look here, for example, so right here I did entry 1 objectives, multimodal design, and that was a big thing. And then I included a picture as well. So this right now is a pretty basic entry in the process of your Commonplace blog. This is what something could look like. And as you go, I expect them to get a little more in depth, to ask questions, to talk about those answers you might think, go to your questions and things like that. But it's really just you interacting with the course content, how you're learning, how you can connect it to also other classes. I would love to see that. And also just things kind of in your life so that we can understand kind of who you are. It's all about a journaling process, and I think that that's really important. So keep that in mind when you do these. And it's really up to you how you want your layout to be. I don't care as long as it's easily accessible. And if we go back to the outline, I do want to bring up that in the syllabus, I think it's at least, you'll have somewhere from around 60-ish or so entries that you'll need to do. So just keep that in mind. And I do right here specify that I want it to be more in a blog format. So if you're starting off with like a Word document or a Google Doc, I'm probably going to recommend, and leave your comments and switching it so that you can do an actual blog. It's more interactive that way, and Google Docs or Word documents are more for like other assignments, and I want you to be creative and use multimodality as you do this in our class. And I hope that answered your questions and helped out.